Hello and welcome back to We Love the State. Thank you so much for being here. We got episode 5 today. I got my friend Jayson Sorensen, who is the, I'm not really sure what role he's playing right now. Is he the state chair? Is he part of the executive committee? Who fucking knows? It was a really fun conversation. We got into the weeds, into the minutia of his state party bullshit, whatever's going on there. Shenanigans are afoot in Idaho. So I had a lot of fun talking to him. And actually, after we stopped recording, we just started kind of bullshitting with each other. I really started wishing, like, man, I should have kept recording, because that's when our conversation got really good. It had nothing to do with libertarianism. We were just going back and forth, making jokes and whatnot. And that was a lot of fun. So, I don't know. Maybe I need to, like, I don't know. Maybe that needs to be, like, some premium content or something. You know, like, we talk about all the political, libertarian stuff, and then we, I don't know, record another episode that we put behind a paywall and say, oh, hey, here's where we make all the dick jokes, you know? I don't know, just an idea. I gotta find a way to monetize this shit. I'm really, really tired of having a job. So, I'd like this to be my job. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get to the actual interview. Thank you so much for tuning in to We Love the State. I'll plug some stuff first. You can find me on TikTok at Andy Coons. That's Koons. You can find me on Twitter at Andy_Coons, Koons. I have merch. I'm gonna put the link tree in the show notes for this. So please, if you want to get a shirt with my ugly mug on it, that shirt's there. There's also all kinds of stuff on there. Real quick, I want to plug this shirt right here. Can you see it? It says "In the Fed." I got this from a good friend of mine, and I'm going to, if I can find it, I'm going to find it real quick. Right there. Okay. I got this shirt from my friend RJ. He's got a podcast, and I think it's called The Decido. It's like DSYDO. That's the website too. I'm gonna find it real quick. I should, if I was any good at this, I'd have all this stuff already prepared, so I could just be like, oh, here it is, blah 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 blah. But no, I'm an idiot, which I'm pretty sure you guys are all aware of. Okay, I think it's pronounced Decido, but it's DSYDO.com. You get, you get all these cool shirts. There's one that says abolish the ATF. There's one that says proud American, but the A in American is an anarchy symbol. There's mine right there in the Fed. There's another one that says Branch Davidians. I can't read the rest of it. Print guns, not money. Dangerous liberty over peaceful slavery. Badass shirts. And this just came in the mail today, right before I recorded episode 6, which you guys will see on Thursday. This one's popping out tomorrow, so Tuesday. So on Thursday, this is what I'm wearing during the interview. On this one with Jayson, I'm wearing a pineapple shirt, which, by the way, nifty little story about that shirt. My wife got it for me. My wife and I are married happily. I get to Reno, to the Reno convention, wearing that shirt, and someone's like, you're in the Swingers Caucus? No, I'm not. I am not. So, make whatever jokes you want about me being a swinger. That's fine. I can take it. I really hope you enjoy this episode. Jayson's a super smart guy. He owns a farm. He's a cool dude. And I got to meet him when I was in Reno. Very nice guy. So, hope you enjoy this. And hopefully this entices you to get involved with your local Libertarian Party, whether it's your county Libertarian Party, state Libertarian Party, or the national party, to get out there, get involved, start changing some people's minds, start doing something. Now's the time. So, thank you so much. Enjoy. Okay. All right, everybody. I am here with a friend of mine named Jayson Sorensen. He is quasi-state chair, quasi member of the Judicial Committee. Who the fuck knows? I don't. That's why he's here to explain everything to us. Jayson, tell me what's going on with the Libertarian Party of Idaho.
So the Libertarian of Potato Land, that's what I was going to say, of Idaho, is basically having another New Hampshire incident where certain members of the party have decided that they can unilaterally just decide to overthrow our convention and reinstate themselves as board members or refer back to the pre-existing board.
Okay. So shady shit is going on there. Shenanigans, as we like to call it in the Libertarian Party.
Yeah.
Would you say this was a result of the takeover in Reno?
Yes and no. So you were in Reno.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember, Idaho had some delegation problems. Our state chair at the time thought that he could be the delegation chair and that we had no say in it. Well, the delegation got together, which he was invited to, had a meeting and said, no, we're going to go with this other guy who got the most votes, because obviously he was the most popular guy at our convention. So we ended up, we had a board meeting, and I believe that was on the 24th. So just for anybody, if I screw up dates, there's a lot of dates, there's a lot of state laws, there's a lot of stuff that goes into this. So please correct me if I miss a date, but I believe that's the date it was on, where we informed him that he was no longer acting chair of the delegation. He didn't believe we had the power to do that, that we could hold a meeting, that he as temporary chair or acting chair, I guess, I don't know what you'd call it, didn't think that we could call a meeting and that only the chair of a committee can call a meeting. But so we agreed to disagree at that point and decided we'll solve this in Reno.
Yeah.
To which we went to Reno. We discussed it with the parliamentarian. He disagreed with Mr. Imhoff that no, you're not technically a board. You're like it's a weird quasi like committee thing. Yeah. So under Roberts, if enough members call a meeting and say, yeah, we're going to hold this meeting, it's valid.
Yeah.
He disagreed with that. Oh, we ended up making a point of order and asking the chair to decide, which she was rightfully annoyed because this was stupid and nonsense. Like, being the delegation chair, like, you count votes, really. Yeah. That's what you do. So she said, why don't you just have another meeting and vote? And the rest of us were like, great. So we asked him to come to our little table where we are all crammed in and have another meeting. He refused. We ended up deciding, well, we'll just go stand by him in line and we'll have the meeting. He can't say, like, we were there. He can't say that we didn't invite him. So we had the meeting, sorted it out, and they left. So then they came back the next morning, but they basically just left the convention, didn't hold any votes, didn't do anything like that. And then we came home, let me think. Certain members of the board had their access removed, I think on either Saturday night or Sunday afternoon. Had their emails were taken. They had and then we come home Monday to newsletters saying, yeah, we didn't hold the convention properly, and therefore we're reverting back to the original board. or the board from the previous term.
And from the previous term, jeez. So
Yeah.
so arbitrarily, you guys just had your credentials stripped from you, if you will.
Yeah. Well, not me. I wasn't on the board at that time.
Oh, okay.
So
I see.
it was I want to say our region 1 rep, our vice chair, and our treasurer.
Mm-hmm.
All Mises caucus members
Mm-hmm.
were just stripped of their titles, all their access to their credentials were gone.
Mm-hmm. Have
So
Have you guys reached out to the national party? Like, have they had anything to say about it?
we've kept them informed,
Mm-hmm.
but we've kind of been at the point like we just want to solve this internally,
Yeah.
you know, and but any attempts at that, like we've had numerous meetings that they've been invited to. We've openly said we are willing to talk, let's just solve this. And all we got was cease and desist letters. So,
Oh wow.
yeah.
So I mean, are you guys thinking about legal action or hiring an attorney or something like that or?
Not at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Until like it's kind of settled who the affiliate is. Like there's no like we can't just take legal action.
Yeah.
So I think at this point, we're going to have another board meeting, and I think we're going to involve the national party at this point.
Yeah.
Because it's really complicated, and it's a point of where, you know, it's just easier for them to decide than us just going back and forth saying, no, you're wrong, fuck you,
Mm-hmm.
you're wrong, Oh, can we swear on here?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, fuck. um so I think, well, we're gonna vote on it anyway, and
Mm-hmm.
then that'll be what happens next.
Yeah. When's your next state convention?
Next April.
Next April. Okay.
Well, it should be next April.
Mm-hmm.
They are trying to hold a convention, from what I've been told, in August to fix the problems that they seen
Yeah.
with the convention.
Mm-hmm.
And you should also keep in mind, these are the people that called the last convention. So they screwed up in their terms the first convention,
Mm-hmm.
but they're going to do this one right. So
Yeah. Sure.
yeah, and I don't know, do you want to get into like the reasoning of why they
Yeah.
decided
Sure.
to
Yeah.
overthrow?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I should explain how Idaho works. So we have an executive board, and then we have a state central committee. And the state central committee is made up of a bunch of, you have to be elected. So you get elected to a precinct committee man, and then you move up to this is where it gets complicated. So central committee, and then do a legislative committee, I believe. And then you can go to the state central committee. Mm-hmm. Like this is based off Republican parties. So, you have to like be voted on to move up, and it's a whole like rigmarole to get to but Idaho's never had anybody in these positions. Mm-hmm. So and the state central committee is tasked under our bylaws and state law with calling the convention. Mm-hmm. But we've never had one. One's never existed.
But then our bylaws never existed?
No, a state central committee has never existed. No one's ever been elected to precinct committeeman, and therefore no one's ever moved up the ladder to the state central committee to do this. Mm-hmm. And But in our bylaws, it does say that the officers of the party, so chair, vice chair, secretary, and treasurer, are the officers of the state central committee. So we believe that they can be the officers of the state central committee, but since none of them are elected, they can't be voting members, if that makes sense. So the conundrum comes in the absence of the state central committee, can the officers call the board meeting? And that's what we believe, because the other option is the Libertarian Party of Idaho has never existed. So, or legitimately existed. So, that's what the state central committee is. And we had a person get elected on May 17th, the first one. It's I think our only elected libertarian in the state. He got elected and moved up to state central committee. They had a meeting. So sorry, this is going to be kind of here and there. It's going to dip and dive, but that's okay. He got elected to the state, or he moved himself and appointed his wife up to the state central committee. All done under the law, all done, according to statute. And they held a meeting. I can't remember what day it was. Anyway, it's not important. They held a meeting.
I can't follow without that date, dude.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I've been dealing with this for months, and I'm still half confused half the time. We're lucky we have a lot of people that are much smarter than me. So they had a meeting in which they confirmed the April 2nd convention. They removed the chair or suspended him, and then petitioned, sent it to the JC to look into having them expelled from the party. There was some other stuff there. The rogue state chair was also suspended in a weird way of like, you're not the chair, stop acting like you're the chair. And she was also recommended for expulsion. So that's what happened in that meeting. And then I was appointed acting chair unless the JC finds that they're not suspended anymore, and they get their trial, then he would revert back to chair. Or if not, I just serve out the rest of this term.
Yeah. So, well, with you being acting chair right now, I mean, what are you gonna do with all this power, dude?
I just want to go on vacation. Yeah.
That's
so much.
That's a job power. I could never do. I could never do that. I could never serve on any of these like committees or boards or anything like that. First of all, like I have tried so many times to like figure out how to properly utilize Robert's rule. I can't figure it out. It's like a different language, I don't understand.
I'm no better, man. Yeah. Trust me. Like I am not great at running meetings. So
yeah, like I mean the most I can do is I can joke about it in like Discord or Signal or something like that and be like, I move that Sterling is gay or something like that. Like
yeah, which he is.
Yeah, he is. He is very gay. That's the most knowledge I have of Robert's rules. Is that right there? Is just calling Sterling gay.
Yeah, like I wasn't some super Roberts dude, I just was willing to do the work and, committed to it, and then I lost by one vote at state convention, but,
Well, I mean, with you,
the best. Go ahead.
With you being the acting, I mean, all jokes aside now, but like with you being the acting state chair, I mean, what capability do you have to sort of rectify the situation?
You know, we don't have a lot of power, I guess, to like, we can't really do much. So as a board, we can ask our region rep to take it to the LNC to decide basically who's the rightful board of the affiliate, right? Kind of like they did in New Hampshire, um, Massachusetts, um, which is funny because Massachusetts was sitting behind us at convention and they must have brought whatever causes this and rubbed it off on us. um, yeah, it's not, it's, you can't have a lot of power to people that don't believe you have a lot of power, right? That's the libertarian thing.
Yeah.
Like if you stop giving people authority, they have no authority. I think once, if the LNC decides that we're the legitimate board, then we have more power, right? We can, but it just depends. It depends on, are they going to accept that and turn over the, our bank accounts, our money, our CRM, and then if not, just like everyone else, it has to go to lawyers, at that point. And we're all really hopeful we can avoid getting lawyers because it's so silly. Like, I love the party, and I guess I'm the state chair and I can't say this, but like, it's so stupid to be fighting over this.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
We're not even California, like, or Texas. Like I think there's 15 of us at our convention, or 17. Like, it's just silly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. But you should get on some type of a board. That's how you learn.
Yeah.
Just ask to get on a committee.
If you want to see
like
the total collapse of my state party, then I'll get on I'll get on one of these boards.
Yeah. No, committees are fun.
Yeah.
When I first joined, I got on the bylaws committee, and I still don't know shit about bylaws. Like, I always joke, like, the way bylaws are written, I'm like, why don't you just say it normal, like a normal person? Yeah. They claim it's, so it can be interpreted better, and I'm like, then people are always fighting over one word.
Yeah. I remember the first state convention that I went to. It was the little bylaws part of the business meeting, and there was a long discussion about one sentence, and not just one sentence, a slash that was in the sentence. They're like, instead of saying this/this, we want to say this and this, or this or this. And I was sitting there, like, looking around. This is my first convention I've ever been to, and my first time seeing like Robert's rules in action. And I was like, what? I had to step outside. I was like, I'm gonna punch one of these autistic kids in the face unless I get out and get some nicotine. I was just like, what the hell is wrong with these? Just use a fucking slash. Who cares?
Yeah. But I can tell you from our situation, like, that shit matters in the end, because like, part of the problem that we've run into is our bylaws kind of contradicting or not being fully fleshed out to the point of like they conflict with state law. And it's, it can be a hassle if they're not done right.
Yeah, I definitely see the importance. Like, I remember after my first state convention, I was like, guys, I think I realized what the problem is. We need to get rid of Robert's rules. And everyone's like, the hell did you just say? And it's just like, from my perspective, after that one convention, I was like, this is used by people who love having 15 minutes of attention on them, who go up and just slow everything down for the stupidest reasons, you know? Well, then I saw Robert's rules used in Reno, and seeing it in a room full of 1,500 people or however many people were there, I was like, okay, I understand the point of Robert's rules now. I understand how it's used to push business along and get things done, but do it fairly. And I don't know, it totally changed my perspective on Robert's rules, you know, after seeing it at Reno.
How many people are like in your state party?
Oh man, I have no idea.
Or how many people showed up to like your state convention?
So there was probably at the April convention, or was it March? I think it was March. I don't know, 150 people, something like that.
Yeah. So I think Roberts works really well if you have a chair that can like, cuts through all the bullshit and like will start calling stuff dilatory.
Yeah.
Or like big groups of people like Reno.
Yeah.
That's where it really shines. But like here in Idaho, like when you're doing like 15 people, it kind of just seems like, oh, like we could have been out of here 3 hours earlier.
Yeah.
Type of deal. But yeah, and the thing about Roberts, is like I don't know it fully. Like I'm still learning. Like that's my next big thing is learning how to, I hate to say this, become Nick Sarwark and run a meeting.
Yeah, and be a fucking ninja at that shit.
Yeah, but it takes time. A lot of people study that shit for decades.
Yeah.
I started learning Roberts like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And it's like you can read it and learn it, but when you're in there like trying to run a meeting and it's like happening really fast and you're like, okay, where are we? Like it gets confusing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I was at Reno, I was talking to somebody from our state party, and she's ran for, I don't remember what she ran for. I don't know if it was I think it was for governor. Obviously she didn't win, but this older woman, I don't remember what her name was, very, very nice lady, and she said that she bought a copy of Robert's Rules for Dummies and had that thing, I mean, from cover to cover, just earmarked. She said she would constantly go back and refer to that, and she was like, I had that book for like 10 years before I finally felt like I had a grasp on it. And I thought of getting a copy of something like that, but at the same time, it's just like I don't think I have enough time to serve on any kind of board or anything like that. I work nights, or I work evenings, and that's when they have all their meetings, and after that I've got kids and the family that I have to pay attention to, and I'm already kind of taking up enough of my time with sort of my other creative projects like the TikTok and the podcast and the music. It there's only so much time I have.
Yeah. I love my wife. She is a saint for dealing with this. Like we were on family vacation and I'd have to like run off. We got to do a meeting. Oh, something else has come up. I've got to go deal with this now. Just constantly writing emails and we're just a little party.
Yeah.
Like, I get we're going through the shenanigans, so it's like amplified, but it is like time consuming. But you're like average committee. I don't know what kind of committees you guys have. Like, you need to be on a public relations committee, like a social media committee. Like that's where you would shine.
Okay.
And that, when you ask me like, what am I going to do with all the powers chair? I just look at the chair as, finding the right people to do the right jobs, right? Like, I don't think I'm God King and I'm the best at everything, but I do know how to like get shit done and find people and put them in the right place to succeed.
Yeah.
So like I'd look at you,
important.
like looking at you, I'd be like, oh, this dude needs to be, if not the chair of our social media, like he needs to be doing our social media, you know, doing, you should be doing the TikToks for your party,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you don't have to know Roberts, you know, just show up at the meeting and, you know,
Yeah.
but
Get some ideas for videos or whatever and
mm-hmm.
beat feet.
Do they ever hit you up like, hey, you want to help out with like getting a TikTok going?
So, so our communications, I was one who asked my communication or our communications director for the state party, if he'd be interested in collaborating with me. And so a lot of the videos on my TikTok, especially the ones that say libertarian TikTok, the ones that say anarchy TikTok, like the really old ones, those were just me. But some of the newer ones that say libertarian TikTok on them, most of those I write out the script and then I send it to the communications director of our state party, and his contribution, his contribution to that TikTok is he goes through and he makes sure the points are solid, you know, because sometimes I can get like I make jokes, you know. I'm a comedy writer, and I can do all the dick jokes, and I can do the creative aspect of it and the funny stuff. And sometimes for me that takes precedent over the facts, you know. And so he's kind of there to rein me in and be like, no, I get this part's funny, but you need to say it this way because that's the actual libertarian stance, you know. And so I might have just outed myself as a total moron. I don't know, but anyway, he kind of hones in those finer points to make sure that I am driving home the message. You know, the message of like individual responsibility, the message of self-ownership, of you know, we haven't really collaborated on a national divorce one, but that's because our state party gets really weird about national divorce, you know.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get really weird about a national divorce.
Yeah.
But no, well, see then, like maybe not officially, but you're basically already part of a committee.
Maybe.
Yeah, yeah, kind of. You know, maybe not appointed, but you're working with them.
So, but anyway, so yeah, that's how I guess I am kind of involved that way in a small way. But yeah, so anybody listening to this, our communications director, his name's Connor Nepomuceno. Great dude, super smart dude. He runs our state Facebook page and Twitter account. He is, in my opinion, the real genius behind 90% of my TikToks, because the good points that are in those videos typically have been refined by him. So, Connor, if you're listening to this, which I know he's not because he doesn't listen to podcasts, but thanks, dude. Appreciate it. I know. Who doesn't listen to podcasts?
What kind of libertarian doesn't listen to podcasts?
He's one of those libertarians who like reads books and shit.
Oh,
I don't even read books.
that's the worst.
I listen to books.
Yeah. I have no time to read. Like people are like, did you read this book? And I'm like, no, dude, I put it on an audio book so I could actually do stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Who's got time to read?
Yeah. I just finished For New Liberty by Rothbard. Loved it. It was great. And then started Defending the Undefendable by Walter Block. And that's been really fun so far. I'm only about 6 or 7 chapters into it, but I don't know if have you heard of that one?
I don't think I've heard of that one.
Check this out. So Walter Block, he picks all of the worst worst types of people out there, like pimps and slanderers and slumlords, people like that, prostitutes. Takes people who are typically the looked down at the worst in society and gives a like rock solid defense of like what they do and who they are and stuff like that. It's so weird, but I know. And it was a friend of mine from the Pennsylvania Libertarian Party who turned me on to that book, because I finished For a New Liberty. And I was like, I need something else to listen to. What do you got? And he was like, dude, read this book. And I've been listening to it. I don't read. And it's been wild so far. Like, his defense of prostitution is, well, I mean, the defense of prostitution is kind of an easy one. Like every libertarian worth his salt can defend prostitution, you know. But like defending pimps, you know.
Yeah, that'd be a tough. Well, I guess defending a pimp, like the job to like be over like a bunch of prostitutes and help them get like find Johns and shit. But like, I don't. How do you defend all the horrid shit they do?
Well, exactly. And so it's like, I think you have to distill the purpose of a pimp down to its most basic form, which is, this is an individual who is helping another consenting individual find a third consenting individual to exchange money for services, you know. And he's like a broker of some sorts, you know. And plus, I think this was written back in like I don't know when it was written. I'm not gonna guess, but it's been a wild ride so far. So anybody listening to this, go read For a New Liberty #1, and then go read Defending the Undefendable, because it's more fun than anything, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I still wouldn't allow a pimp into my house, you know.
No, like I get defending like the basics of what a pimp is, but like, because it's a black market, you get the shadiest assholes, you know, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I love how I come on here to talk about all the shit going on in Idaho. Now we're on pimps.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah. So I knew I needed to come on here.
Come for the
At
party
some point,
drama, stay for the pimps.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get back to your state party. Let's get back to what we actually are supposed to be talking about.
Everybody's going to be so mad at me. You went on there and then you were talking about pimps. Fuck.
No, then you could be like, hold on. Let me talk to you about pimps.
Yeah.
You pull out your copy of Walter Block's Defending the Undefendable.
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, but anybody watching this, like, if we were just to go through like bullet point to bullet point and just start listing like, oh, this happened, then like they're going to be asleep by like 15 minutes in.
You have to throw a little bit of pimpage in there.
Yeah. Pimps and
you know what?
Prostitutes.
That's going to be like my safe word for like, if I'm doing an episode and it starts to get boring, I'm going to be like, so those pimps, right? I mean, dang.
Oh, just you're starting to nod off. Hey, I think we should talk about pimps.
Like,
it's a very serious thing. Yeah. Oh, Christ.
Oh, my goodness. All right. So, but you raised an important point. Getting back to your state party.
Yeah.
Right, so,
where were we?
I don't even remember. So, from your perspective, how do you see this going? You know, and what are some of the hurdles that you could see coming up, getting to kind of legitimizing your state party?
I gotta kind of like think about this, because in case lawyers do get involved, I don't say something stupid. I think the first
let me ask
you
this one.
I can do it.
Oh,
okay. Our first step would be getting in front of the LNC and having them pass a resolution. I mean, if the LNC won't even recognize us, then it's kind of mute at that point. So that's the next step. And then it's going to be arguing, or it's going to be trying to get the assets back, right? That's always the difficult thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's what New Hampshire, it's what Massachusetts, like I think Massachusetts was still fighting for assets. Now there are things that the LNC can do as far as the party name. Um, that's something that they can put some pressure on. And I don't know how much the LNC wants to get involved or will get involved. I can't imagine a lot. They have a much bigger concerns going on, right? But that's the main next step, is taking the evidence, presenting it to them, and hoping that they side with us. Um, you know, it's very, very, it's not overly complicated.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot of like statutes and um kind of chicken and egg stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it, you have to look, if you look at it from just a practical sense, like what the other side's claiming, that, well, the SEC didn't call the convention, but they're also saying that they are part of the SEC, but because it wasn't fully formed and because somebody got elected after our convention, you know, there was concern. I guess I should go back a little bit. There was concern about our bylaws stated that the convention needed to be held within the last 2 weeks of April or according to state law,
Mm-hmm.
right? Our convention was on April 2nd, and we all recognize that. And there was a motion made. Now there's debate over if the motion was even in order, if it could be made. That's not really here nor there, but there was a motion made that we all recognize this convention as legitimate, and that we understand that it was on the wrong dates, even though after rereading, we've now learned it's the last 2 weeks of April, or I believe in accordance with state law, election laws or something. So it's one of those slashes or whatever, you know. But that motion passed unanimously.
Mm-hmm.
And it took 2 months till after Reno from our convention for them to decide, oh, wait, it was wrong, and overturn the convention. They claim that during that May 24th meeting, it was brought up that we are going to set the date for, or the location for our next convention, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a motion made that it being, we have 3 regions, and in region 1, since it hasn't been there yet, and it was brought up by the vice chair, in which he said, we can do this, but just be aware that there has been somebody elected as a precinct committee man, so we will have a state central committee, and they can overturn us if they see fit. At that time, we thought there was more people that got elected. I think there was 3 or 4 people that got elected, but we come to find out you have to get 5 votes. We thought it she just ran, and if you got a vote, you know, but you have to have 5 votes. And there was only one guy that got 5 votes. Mm-hmm. In which they took that and claimed, well, because the state central committee didn't call the convention, then it's no longer valid. Mm-hmm. So that's how the whole thing started. But it took 2 months, in which case they never reported the results to the Secretary of State. They never turned over and said, hey, we had a convention, this happened, in 2 months. And then after Reno, within like a day of getting home, they had told the Secretary of State, without contacting anybody on the board, without having any public comment or anything, just said, nope, it's done. We're reverting back to the old board. Mm-hmm. Which in and of itself, even if we were to say, oh, you are correct, to not even consult with anybody, not even the secretary of the party, mm-hmm. who is the secretary of, was the secretary of the previous board and the new board. Yeah. So they didn't even confer with him. He never signed the documents to the Secretary of State. They just went over his head. You know, it all seems like, so even saying they are correct. Now I forgot where I was going with it. I got off on the secretary and forgot. Anyway, yeah. So to not even like include people or to bring this up, you know, that, oh, it comes off as shady. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, I would look at it like, oh, we have a problem. We should maybe discuss this, mm-hmm. you know, and maybe take some time, you know, to figure out. Oh, go ahead.
No, I am not a legal expert whatsoever.
Me neither.
I think I've done a very good job over the course of my public career over the last like 7 months or whatever to show that I'm kind of an idiot sometimes, most of the time. That being said, it really sounds like there's some kind of like election law, some kind of legal thing that's been, you know, breached. You know, I mean, yep. What it sounds like to me is that somebody was pissed off about the Mises Caucus, and they're it's like the death throes of the loser brigade, you know, and yep. This is, and like we've got some shit like that happening in our state party, you know, and actually later today I'm interviewing somebody from our state party to kind of get the story of what happened at our most recent state convention, which I wasn't able to go to, but
you guys had another state convention?
Yeah.
After Reno?
Yeah. Right after Reno. And so like there was really low turnout because it was just after Reno. A bunch of people just spent, you know, $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 to get all the way out to Reno and stay, you know, 5 days in a hotel, an expensive hotel. And mm-hmm. And now they're coming back, and they, you know, a lot of people don't have time to go and spend another, you know, $1,000 maybe on a 3-day vacation, you know. And
so just like you guys had a state convention this year before Reno.
Mm-hmm. And then
so why are you having two?
It's an excellent question. I think I mean they were always going to have one, like even at the March convention they were like, oh, we'll see you in July, you know. And I think had to do with, it's like our off year thing, so we needed to have two. I don't know, but at the same time, I'm not a member of any of these committees or anything, so I don't know why we had two conventions, you know, because mm-hmm. I was at the first one and I was like, there's another one of these, like, in 3 months. What?
Yeah, that seems so odd.
Yeah. But maybe Michigan just has, like, I'm very new to the Libertarian Party of Michigan, like being a member. I've only been a member for a year, you know.
Yeah.
And I still don't know everything about it. So maybe they just have two a year. Who knows?
Yeah, it just seems really odd. I know in Idaho they had a convention and then had another one. I'm not sure of the dates. Had another special, I think it was a special convention to combine our constitution with our bylaws into one document. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I don't really know. It's weird.
It is.
let's see what else. Oh, so I mean, I don't know how deep you want to dive in and get into every bit of minutia. You know, I don't know. Like there was things that happened before in after convention before Reno. There was a point in time where they sent out everybody that was on a committee. They just sent out this NDA, and it was a god awful NDA. Like if I was to ever leak something to my wife, they could sue me, you know. And it was very like unclear on a lot of stuff. And there was a bunch of us who were like, yeah, we're not gonna sign that,
Yeah.
you know. And when members of the board, the vice chair, and the treasurer and the region 1 rep decided, yeah, we're not going to sign that. You know, this was never brought before the board. There was never, you know, discussion. And they're like, okay, they removed all their access to the Slack accounts. Like they couldn't even like get on Slack. There was debate on whether the Slack account was official party. And anyway, at the same meeting, this May 24th, I believe, meeting, it was brought up and it was decided that we're gonna have an NDA. You know, it's a good idea. There's a lot of private information people, you know, trust you with, to not just be given out. But we want to do one that's, you know, more in line with like other parties. Like the Imhoffs were from California. And so we're like, oh, we'll just take the California one and we'll change it up and make sure it's in line with Idaho. And so that was done as well. Apparently, you know, not done well enough. Yeah, they formed a committee. Sorry, I just read my notes. They formed a committee to do this NDA. You know, so that was just another thing that, you know, removing people's access to communicate, board communication. It's just a lot of stuff like that that just leads up to this and goes like, you guys haven't acted in good faith multiple times, you know. And then to just unilaterally say, oh, our convention's done and we're going to revert to the old board, which consisted of our old vice chair who abandoned the party for a year. But now it's okay. Like you just get to come back and nothing happened. Now you're the vice chair. Vice chair. A lot of stuff like that. Mr. Imhoff, when they reverted back to the rogue board, is what we call it, claimed to the Secretary of State that he was the acting treasurer. But he'd also been informed multiple times by our secretary, who is a rock star, that due to conflicts of interest, your wife's the chair. You can only be assistant treasurer until we can appoint a new one. And he was told multiple times, and still signed his name to those Secretary of State documents, as far as I know, as the acting treasurer, which is false under either pretenses. You know. We've also met with the Secretary of State, and they told us, you know, know there's a problem, but we don't want to get involved, right? The government, we're not going to help you decide. You know, this is internal party. And which I was like, well, you've chosen a side, but to them, they just file the paperwork, right? Whatever you tell them, they don't care. They're like, no one gives a shit about the Libertarian Party in Idaho. Yeah. So that's kind of where it went with the Secretary of State. Sounds good, man.
Jayson, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Thank you for exposing what's going on in Idaho. People need to hear stuff like this because whatever state you live in, people is not immune to shenanigans like this. You know, it's not immune to bullshit. You know, stuff like this is happening in my party. Stuff like this happened in Massachusetts. Stuff like this happened in New Hampshire. Stuff like this is happening in Idaho. And the one thing that I keep kind of coming back to with myself is the Mises Caucus took over the party. That's just the truth. The Mises Caucus took over. We are a party of principle. We're a party of Rothbardian minarchists, anarchists, whatever you want to call it. You know, that's what the party is now. And so all the fakertarians, all the lulberts, whatever fucking weird name you want to call them, this is their death rattle. You know, this is them slowly giving up. You know, they're going to do whatever you can. Just like whenever you corner a raccoon is when they're the most dangerous. So they're going to do some wild wackadoo shit. So if you're involved in your state party, be on the lookout, you know, because people, you know, cornered people will do some wackadoo shit. So, but anyway, as I said, were you going to throw something in there?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for having us on, giving us a platform, letting us get this out. I would also add that the people we're dealing with have also filed a defamation lawsuit against, I believe it's the Mises Caucus and a member of the Mises Caucus in Idaho, for basically, I'm trying to think out of the phrase this, stating what happened with them in California. Mm-hmm. If you want to know more, it's public. I'm not going to say any more about it. Just, I've said their names. Contact somebody from California. They will fill you in on how they left California and ended up in Idaho. Mm-hmm. So, but again, thank you for having me on. I'd love to plug, you know, if you're in Idaho, go join the Libertarian Party of Idaho, but that money goes to the other board. So we're kind of in a weird place with that.
Yeah. So libertarian limbo.
It's rough, man.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to have you on again so we could get like updates on this.
Okay.
So maybe in a month or two or something like that, or whenever there is an update. You've got my number. You can text me. But anyway, thank you so much for having me on. Jayson, if you want people to find you, where can they find you?
I'm on Twitter, but I'm not a big Twitterer. Sorensen Farms on Twitter, Facebook, Jayson Sorensen with a Y. Or, you know, that'd be the main two places. Or get a hold of Andy. He'll get you in touch with me.
Yep, I can do that.
And we got to I want to do a podcast on pimps now. So
absolutely.
We have to get together and do the pimp podcast.
Yep.
All right, man.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate it.
In that case, so I'm listening to the audiobook of Defending the Undefendable by Walter Block on YouTube. There's a playlist of all the chapters on YouTube. All right. So then what you and I should do is we should go and listen to that, take a bunch of notes, and then we can go through the audiobook or whatever and just go through our defense of pimps. We'll make a whole ass episode. I will 100,000% do this with you.
Oh, I would love it. That'd be so awesome.
Hell yeah.
So I will get the book. I will start listening to it.
Okay.
And we can just like go through all the different shit he talks about.
Yep.
And just nail it down.
Yep. I agree.
All right.
Now, here's going to be like, this is what would make that podcast go like viral, is if I can actually get a pimp as a guest. So you and me and this actual real life pimp can go through this stuff. So if you're listening, if you guys know any pimps, let me know.
Nice.
All right. Well, Jayson, thank you so much for being on. Thank you for letting us know what's going on in Idaho. I'm definitely going to have you on again. And yeah, thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too, man. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you so much for watching. That was Jayson Sorensen of the Idaho Libertarian Party. Very cool guy. I met him and his wife at the Reno convention. It was one of the time, and I might have said this on the podcast. I don't even remember. I don't know. But he was one of the first people that like recognized me. You know? Oh shit. He like recognized me. You know, I've never had like. To me, I'm just like a normal dude who goes to work. You know, I have kids, I have a wife, I drive a shitty car, whatever. And so whenever I got to Reno and I was at the Mises Bash at the hotel, he and his wife just came up to me and he was like, "Are you Andy Coons from TikTok?" And I was like, "Yeah." You know, it was very strange. You know, I've never had any like notoriety before. I also do this way too much. I don't know. I'm nervous. Too much coffee. It was a very alien experience is what it was, you know? So anyway, I really enjoyed talking to Jayson. Hope you guys enjoyed listening to our conversation. Let me know what you think about that whole premium content thing, because like I said, I need to figure out how to make some money off of this. Or else, what am I doing really? I don't know. So, thank you so much for tuning in. I've said that about 175 times. I think that's what I do whenever I hit record. It's just I get like short-term memory loss, you know, and I just keep saying the same shit over and over and over and over and over again. Yeah, I don't know what the deal with that is. So, anyway, yeah. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day. If you want to find me on TikTok, it's at Andy Coons, Koons. If you want to find me on Twitter, it's at Andy_Coons, Koons. My link tree will be in the show notes for this episode. You can buy merch there. I've got shirts, coffee mugs, I got fucking pillows and blankets too. All with, you know, stuff from either my TikToks or my music. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. So, anyway, thank you so much. Have a great day, and see you next time.